So after my video essay on Alfabusa's Hunt of the Parenting series did better than anything else I've done thus far, I decided to look back at all of TTS, primarily the main series, because I love it and I think it's crazy how no one with better editing skills has thought to do a video essay about it before, and I am nothing but an attention-seeking 20-year-old YouTuber looking to grow a channel off of someone else's successful web series. So what made TTS so enrapturing? What caused me to fall in love with Alfabusa's ridiculous story? Because on paper, it sounds like one of those plots you'd have late at night for starting a fanfic about it, then abandoning the project because it was a spur-of-the-moment thing you had no real plan for. Yeah, this is something he actually went through and made with considerable effort. Alfabusa is an amazing writer, and it's a shame people in Hollywood and subscription streaming services don't fund web series like this, because this is the guy who needs those tens of millions going to whatever that Halo TV show garbage is, because TTS is, to use a technical writing term, amazingly fucking written. What I found to be the most interesting aspect about TTS is that it's not just a funny parody about the 40k universe. Many of its characters are pretty rooted in canon, such as Kitten. At first, it seems a bit off that a custodian would know a lot about what's been happening outside the palace, when barely any of them have left it in 10 millennia, yet it actually makes sense lore-wise when you consider two things. One, the custodians were handcrafted by the Emperor to be the pinnacle of man in both body and mind. They are scholars first and warriors second, able to debate deep philosophical concepts so well it would make Socrates baffled and impressed. The second thing to consider is that Kitten is a High Lord, and thusly would be taking a more active role in looking into the galaxy at large and soaking in all that information to figure out how things have changed and will affect his job. It's clear Alfabusa considered Kitten's character carefully and grounded him within the reality of this universe, as to have him not come across as just a walking Wikipedia page plot device. It's these three oiled up stripperific wonders that are the real outliers here. One of them is confirmed to be unable to read, which shouldn't be the case, but they are joke characters and a funny, if unintentional, JoJo reference, which is what makes Alfabusa's connection and joke here funny. It's grounded in an old lore bit that the custodians have shed all their war gear in mourning for the Emperor. Rogel Dorn is also one of my favorites, yet I have to say, if you read any books with Dorn in them, you quickly realize that while he is blunt, honest, and very literal-minded, TTS does exaggerate these qualities a bit. Rogel has no use for sarcasm or metaphors, but that doesn't mean he is, mentally incapable of recognizing it or understanding what they are. Alfabusa does it for comedic effect, but again, it's fashioned closely for what Dorn's character is actually like in 40k, and that's why it's great. He's able to maintain who Dorn is for the story while producing funny moments with this parody, and that takes serious skill as a writer to pull off like that. There are also just full-blown parody characters. Lord Belial of the Dark Angels, who has gone from the harsh and stubborn perfectionist of the elite Deathwing Company to the level-headed straight man of the trio between him, Azrael, and Asmodee's overzealous hunt for the fallen Dark Angels. And of course, a lot of the custodians who are exaggerated parodies of their organizations. But even then, he managed to pull the Fabstodians away from the wacky joke characters to actually give them personalities and one even development. That's partially what really drew me in, that Alfabusa could make a parody, yet managed to keep things far more grounded in canon 40k, far better than, say, a Bridge series who completely reshaped the characters and their personalities while still using the original plot as a template. Another thing I like is how Alfabusa expertly uses the Emperor. This whole thing is a ridiculous concept. The Emperor gets a text-to-speech device and through it begins to get the gunk out of the Imperium, and he goes about it in the most convoluted way possible. He disbands the Inquisition to lure the most crazed and overzealous members to Terra, where they proceed to set it on fire, mind you, and raid the Imperial Palace. And this plan also hinged on the Ultramarines getting Magnus out of the Eye of Terror and convincing him to switch sides. Also, Magnus can teleport said Inquisitors into the warp and have the remaining good ones rebuild the organization. But it didn't end there. He got Fyodor in the warp to meet up with Lehman Russ and Caldor Draco, who then melded with the Star Child to bring that aspect of him back to the Materium, all without any of the participants knowing they were acting out their roles in some grand plan. It sounds ridiculous, but the way Alfabusa wrote and presented it all makes it feel like one of those fan fictions. You know the ones I'm talking about, right? With the stupid descriptions, but an amazing writer behind it to make the story believable and an awesome read. Ultimately, that's what makes TTS great. It isn't just a funny parody with grounded jokes. It isn't just a great fan fiction with bizarre characters. Alfabusa combined so many elements together, and with this great writing style, to make a fun and engaging story where every plot thread led to something interesting. And it's always presented in an organic fashion. Never do I feel like anyone turns the camera and speaks directly to the audience with an out-of-place exposition dump. Even those 2 episodes where the Emperor gives a summary of the galaxy flowed naturally enough. All in all, I think it's the best way I could have been introduced into the Warhammer 40k universe, and although it's dead due to outside forces,
this is my world. You are not welcome in my world.
It shall always hold a special spot in my heart as one of the most well-written and acted web series I have ever seen on the internet. Thank you so much, Alfabusa, for making this series. We all appreciate you and everyone else involved in its production. If you enjoyed this video and are new to the channel, hit that like button and comment down below what you thought about my assessment. Check out my other video essays, music analysis videos, overanalyzing She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, and complex character series. You might find them enjoyable as well, and please consider subscribing for more content to come.